Let's look at now the constitutional position of governor in our constitution. This topic is also read in context of the President of India. That what is the constitutional position of president in our country? And the same topic is also studied in context of governor's position in our constitution. Why? This we understand very well that Indian constitution provides for a parliamentary form of executive, a parliamentary form of government at both union and state levels. And this model of executive is inspired from the British parliamentary system. In British parliamentary system, the head of state, the monarch, is symbolic in nature, is nominal in nature, is titular in nature, in title, often compared to an ornament. Like an ornament serves no purpose except for the purpose of pretense. Same way, the monarch serves no purpose except a symbolic head of state who represents the state. The real powers are with the Prime Minister, British Prime Minister. Similar model we have adopted in India, that we have a president, because we are not a monarchy, so we are a republic. We have a president who is indirectly elected and who shall be the nominal executive, the nominal head of state. Similarly, at state level, there shall be a governor who will be the head of state, the nominal executive. Now, on paper, all the powers of executive have been vested in president at union level and in governor at the state level. So constitution says that, let us say if I first briefly discuss this topic in context of president, Article 53 would say that all executive power of union shall be vested in the president. All executive power of union shall be vested in president. Now, another article which we have to briefly go through is Article 74, which provides for a council of ministers with the PM at the head to aid and advise the president in exercise of his executive functions. Now, this phrase aid and advise is inspired from Canadian political system, Canadian constitution. Now, this term aid and advise can be considered as binding or non-binding in nature. So if it is argued that the aid and advice given by Prime Minister and Council of Ministers to President is binding in nature, in all cases, in all circumstances, that would make President a rubber stamp. Whereas if it is argued that the aid and advice in themselves inherently are non-binding in nature, that would mean that President of India can exercise his executive powers without or against the advice of Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. Now, this debate in our country was settled by 42nd Amendment, 1976, which amended Article 74. And the main inclusion in this article was a word shall. And therefore, the new Article 74 now says that there shall be a council of ministers with the PM at the head to aid and advise the president in exercise of his executive functions, who shall act as per the advice. So the word shall here has a sense that the advice is binding on the president. Now, this makes President of India a constitutional head, a figurehead, a nominal head. Although, remember, we cannot say that after 42nd Amendment, the president has become merely a rubber stamp. No, because president still has certain powers which he can exercise in his own discretion. Although such discretionary powers are not explicitly mentioned in the Constitution, they are more circumstantial or situational in nature. Now, this would have given you an idea as to what is the position of president in Constitution. Let us now discuss this in context of governor. That what is the position of governor in our Constitution? Again, remember that on paper, all executive power of state is vested in governor of the state. So all the executive power, or let's remove the word all, the executive power of state shall be vested in governor. Now this is given in the Constitution. But again, like in context of union, we have Article 74. Here we have Article 163. Please have a look at the article yourself. Now, if you carefully observe the article, it is partially similar to Article 74. So here it says what? There shall be a council of ministers with the chief minister at the head to aid and advise the governor in exercise of his functions. Now, until here, the language of the article is same as Article 74. But if we look further, here it says, except in so far. That means except to the extent that president, I beg your pardon, governor. This we are discussing the topic of governor. Except insofar the governor is required by this constitution to exercise his functions in his discretion. Now, please differentiate Article 163 with Article 74. Article 74 does not envisage any situation, any circumstances where president is required to act in his discretion. But in Article 163, in the context of governor, the Constitution explicitly has mentioned the word discretion. It means our constitution makers are envisaging that there can be some situations, in some circumstances, where governors would be required to act in their discretion and not as per the advice and aid of CM and Council of Ministers. That means governors have more discretion envisaged in constitution than the president. So that brings us to the comparison of discretionary powers of governor and president, which we will see in the next part.